I just wanted to say for the people that are here, I marked all of assignment 1, part 1, and they were fantastic. Most people should be set up for success for part 2, as long as you realize that content is the most important part in part 2. Assignment 1, part 1 is to get you set up to be able to deliver that content. So just please keep that in mind. But I was really impressed with the work that everybody did, and I enjoyed every moment of marking them. So.
And for those of you that have not had a class with Thomas before, that's high words of praise, because he doesn't ever say that. So that's excellent. It's good to hear. Well, I guess we may as well get started. If people join, they join. Like I said, I just have a couple opening remarks, I guess. Looking at the week ahead of us, Module 3, got 3 chapters to read, quiz 3 to do on Friday, and assignment 1 is due Wednesday. So we've got no discussions this week. We focus on the assignment instead. It should be a relatively lighter week without having to do a couple different discussion posts and all that writing. So we'll get back into the discussion swing of things next module, but for this module, just those 2 deliverables. Unlike Thomas, I didn't get all my marking assignment done, so I've got about 3/4 or 4/5 of the discussion 2, the discussion 2s marked. They look good in a lot of cases. Still seeing some of the students not bothering to understand what the basic requirements are. 500 to 700 words, 3 cited references. So, and that's for both posts. So if people aren't going to meet the basic requirements, they're not going to be all that pleased with their marks. I have put extensive comments in, extensive feedback. So please take the time to review that. Even if you get perfect, most of the time I'll just say, well done, but I may give you some nugget of advice in there. And starting with discussion 3, I won't be leaving that level of feedback. So it'll be much more cursory comments, meaning that my expectation is that you've learned from the previous 2 discussions, and I hate to keep having to repeat myself. For instance, the people that, again, aren't putting enough content in or aren't doing 2 posts or whatever, it doesn't seem to matter how many times I say that, they're still going to do the same thing. So I will keep my comments to a minimum, starting with discussion 3, and by discussion 4, there'll be no comments at all, just a mark. So that's how I'll approach that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that next week's office hours is on Tuesday. Monday's a holiday. So next Monday is May 2-4 or Labor Day, depending on how you want to refer to it. But there will not be an office hours next Monday. It will be Tuesday, same time, but on Tuesday. All right. So with that, unless anyone has any questions for me, I'll give you a second. Is there anyone that has any questions about anything that I've covered? I guess I should say that I will be done marking all the discussions in the next couple days. I'm not treating it as urgent because we don't have any discussions due until not this week, but next week. So I will certainly have those done long before you have to post your first discussion in the next module. All right. So if there's no questions, I'll stick around, but I will turn it over to Thomas. Go ahead, please.
Okay, everybody, thanks for joining today. What I want to talk to you about today is assignment 1, part 2. Just to give you, I think the review video I posted should cover most of it. But what I want to talk about today is just some of the, I guess what I would call gotchas or look fors or little tips and tricks to get top marks that maybe didn't poke through or whatever. I think the main thing is about keeping, and what I'm going to call it is in scope. All right. One thing I have noticed, we've done this assignment, Andy and I have sculpted this assignment over more than a few semesters. And it works very, very well as long as you keep it in scope. If you're going to Google everything, not read the course material, you're not going to be happy with your mark. Okay. For example, if you're going to talk about a company, let's say, company X and company Y, and you're talking about company X gives free shipping on returns. Well, that's not an online business principle. That is a business strategy. It's a very good strategy if a company can afford it. For example, Amazon. However, that's not an online business principle. Okay. So what I would suggest, but as you're getting started, to get your mind in the game, if that metaphor makes sense, to go through the syllabus and actually look at the topics that we're talking about, and just keep those at a high level, right? And use that as a framework, use that as a mindset as you begin to develop your arguments. Okay. Once you do that, it's going to make much more sense. Otherwise, why have an assignment? Right? Why bother having an assignment if you're not going to be able to apply and synthesize course material and keep it in scope of that course? All right. I don't want to hear about, I'm sorry, when I say I mean we don't want to hear about t-shirt campaigns. T-shirt campaigns are great, but that's not an online business principle. Now, you may be able to twist that argument to make it an online business principle, maybe about loyalty or something like that, but that's a bit of a difficult argument. So please keep that in mind, and you'll be set up for success. Okay. Let me go over to the instructions now, and I'm just going to hit a few highlights. Again, I believe the review video we've posted should cover a lot of it, but let me just make sure we're all on the same page, and I'll answer any questions you have. Hopefully everybody can see that, and hopefully you can all hear me. Alrighty, so there's the instructions there. Again, these instructions only appear when you have completed, if you've put something in the Dropbox for assignment 1, part 1, then the instructions appear. Okay, so the due date's there, and so on. So we've got this thing called the ladder of loyalty. All right, and this is only one section of our course. However, I believe it ties in very, very many pieces of the course. All right. That means, of course, you've got the textbooks, you're reading, you're doing the mandatory readings and stuff, and that's what it's going to take to get high marks in this assignment. So what we want to do is, up here at the top of the ladder, we have somebody who has no relationship. They have no idea about us. How do we capture their attention? Right. And then we want to move these, hopefully move these customers or move our people down the ladder. So all of a sudden now we have people that have done repeat business, and they are actually advocates. They are actually people that go out and talk about our company, right? And I'm sure that all of us have that experience. We have certain brands or companies or whatever that we deal with often. And, if somebody asks us our opinion on something, we actually say, yeah, hey, that's who I support. That's who I like. They provide, a personalized experience or whatever your approach is. And that's the ladder of loyalty. Now, we've provided resources for that. Your first resource, of course, should be the textbook or textbooks. However, that's the ladder of loyalty. Please keep it in mind. If you start Googling things and you start Googling the ladder of loyalty, you're going to find maybe some different definitions of that. All right. Please stick to this framework. All right. It just makes it much easier for us to mark because you're keeping it in scope. And, Andy and I have vetted these resources. The textbooks have been vetted. And that means that the terminology that you're using is relative to our course, right? There's many terms in this course that could end up being somewhat fluid. Okay, so keep that in mind. Right, so you want to be using the course material, textbooks, lectures, resources provided. Examine this ladder of loyalty, and then what we want you to do is, think about the companies that you've dealt with, or do some research, and pick a company that you believe did really well on one specific stage of the loyalty ladder. Do not talk about the entire loyalty ladder, one stage. And it's an online business principle, right? You felt that they did really good on that one specific stage. And then contrast that with a business that you have found that did a poor job on a specific stage. All right. Again, we don't want to hear about the entire stage. We want you to focus your arguments on specific stages. All right. Again, I've said here, notice the emphasis is online. We want to talk about online strategies, business models. I mean, that's not an online strategy. That's a business model, right? T-shirt campaigns, trade shows. I mean, these, I have seen people argue these somewhat effectively, but it is very tricky. So I would ignore that. And what we've provided here for you is basically we pick between these two, right? So pick a stage of the loyalty ladder. For instance, maybe client, right? So you've got somebody now that's doing repeat business with your company. Excuse me, sorry, I've been talking all day. Pick a stage like clients, for example, and then you pick two companies. One did really great at creating clients repeat business, and one didn't. The other way to do that is, and those companies do not have to be related. Okay, the relationship in this specific compare and contrast doesn't matter. Or the other way you can do it is, like, for instance, maybe you are really into sports equipment, right? And then you're going to pick two companies. Maybe one did really great at creating customers. However, one of them did not do well at creating advocates, right? But they're in the same business model, if you will, right? Or sports equipment or things like that, whatever you're into. So that is the best way to frame your arguments. Okay. Again, specific stages. Don't talk about all the stages for one company and all the stages of the other, right? We want you to be able to hone your arguments, so it makes it much easier for yourself. So then you're going to make a video essay. Now, we've provided resources on what a video essay is. If you don't know, or you need further guidance, hop onto YouTube, look at video essays. There are, thousands and thousands and millions of them, right? We're looking for something here that is structured, is well edited, well thought out, just like any normal essay. So for example, if you're writing an essay, you would never just do your first draft, type everything out. So if I'm writing, a lot of times I'll just do a mind dump. I will dump everything, all my ideas into one document, and then I edit that from there. I would never in a million years ever hand that in. Right? That's my ideas. Then I would hone that, edit it, spell check, grammar check, do my citations and references. Right? I would make that the best deliverable I could possibly can. And it's the same thing here. All right. It's an alternate form of deliverable. However, we're still looking for, the care and thought that you would put into any document, any essay. Okay. However, this is a course on online business principles. I think that this alternate form of deliverable works quite well and fits in the framework of this course. All right, so that's what we're talking about there. You're going to, form your arguments, and then you're going to back it up with proof. In the tutorial that we've posted, we've talked exactly how to cite and reference this. All right, so it's no different than citing and referencing your discussion posts, any sort of essay, assignment 2, for example, which is going to be more of a formal document. You are going to cite and reference, and we've showed you exactly how to do that. You're going to use an in-text citation right in the video. Okay, if you have any questions about your specific video editing suite, you are more than welcome to email me, and I will answer as quickly as possible. This is non-negotiable. If you decide not to put in-text citations, and you do not put the reference list in the description area of YouTube, as we have described, you are going to get a poor to 0 mark for the citing and referencing portion, and this will impact your content marks as well. All right, so please keep that in mind. If you have any questions, email us and we will hook you up. So that, yes, it's an alternate form of deliverable. That doesn't mean the standards change. Okay, so keep that in mind. The review video is there. So your citations are in the video. Reference list is in the description area. Now, what I have seen in the past is some people have put their reference list at the end of the video. That is useless. Because if there's any question, like for example, we're marking and I need to, Andy and I need to check the reference, we can go to the description area and check that out very quickly. If it's in the video itself, it's impossible, right? References can be quite long. We don't have time to be typing in massive URLs or anything like that. So you need to follow the instructions on that. Okay, easy enough. Again, we've set you up for success. You've done your part one. Most people's, if not all of them, were very well done. You posted as unlisted for privacy reasons. You're using Creative Commons or free music. We didn't run into many, if any, problems this semester at all with that. Everybody was pretty much on point. That was great. I have seen videos in a previous iteration of this course. I have seen videos removed from YouTube. We don't want that. It makes it very difficult to mark them. Good. And then your standard late penalty. Of course, this is in the rubric. We are bound by that. So there you go. Alrighty. So I think we've provided lots of resources for that. One thing I want to mention about, and what I noticed this semester, is the sound quality of the videos was very well done. I'm hoping it was because of the tutorials, but I also think it's the advancement in the quality of YouTube product. I'm pretty sure that all of us watch YouTube. It's my source of entertainment. I don't really watch TV all that much. Maybe the Leafs game. So my entertainment is YouTube, and I think the quality of YouTube over the last few years has doubled in quality. And I think that has really influenced the end product that we're ending up with in this course. And I would like you to think about, beyond this course. We always try to think of not only in this course, but the other courses that you take and beyond the classroom. I think being able to make a quality YouTube video, or at least critically think about the videos that you're watching, is very important, in this day and age. Like I said last week, if you were here, I just bought some new guitar equipment, which is off camera, but I didn't buy this. I didn't just go in and buy this, but I was on YouTube a lot, watching reviews, listening to opinions on this device, right? So I think thinking about, how videos are made, the quality of the video, the bias that may be in videos and things like that. And I think going through that process is quite important, and is an interesting paradigm in this course. So I hope that you find as much enjoyment out of it, and you get as much enrichment out of it as we do marking them, because I think it's a very fascinating part of the course. There you go. That is my introduction to Assignment 1, Part 2. I'm going to be here to take any questions if you have them.
I just wanted to jump in, Thomas, with one quick comment, and that was to underline the instructions, which say maximum of 5 minutes. But the important part, to me anyways, where I've seen students make mistakes before, is it says briefly define the ladder of loyalty. So don't spend 4.5 minutes defining it and 30 seconds doing an analysis, a compare and contrast. We're not looking at that as being the primary content. Briefly move through it in no more, in my opinion, no more than about 1.5 minutes, leaving you plenty of time to make your arguments and show your depth of understanding of the specific areas that you're analyzing. So briefly means briefly.
Excellent point. I'm going to just share the rubric really quickly to reinforce that message. And again, it's always, you always need to be looking at the rubric, because this is not a nice to have. This is a must have for top marks. This isn't just our guideline. This is our guiding principle as we're marking your assignments, right? This is very crucial. So if you notice, the ladder of loyalty is very few marks, right? The reason that we're asking you that to make sure that you're framing your arguments in a proper context, and that you've understand the ladder of loyalty. And also it indicates to us that you've actually followed our course material. Okay. Really 6 marks here is for your compare and contrast arguments, right? So that's where the points are. Again, citing and referencing is 0 to 2 points. If you get 0 on this, it's really going to impact your content mark as well. So just keep that in mind. Again, we are here. We can answer any sort of questions, and we can also point you in the right direction at any time for citing a reference or whatever. Okay. The quality, of course, you have this down already. Again, the work I've seen has been fantastic. So just keep that in mind. Always be going to the rubric. Any questions on that? You can either put them in the chat window or turn your camera or microphone on or whatever you wish.
Okay, folks. Well, it seems like we've covered it. I'll stick around right till the end until everyone's signed off. But if you don't have questions, feel free to sign off. I will post a recording of this. I'll do a little brief edit, chop off some of the unnecessary stuff at the beginning, and it will be posted for you. So thanks again. See you next Tuesday.